What is going on, clan? Welcome back to part 4 of GTA 3, and this is actually the finale. I've managed to condense this all into one final video, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now, right off the bat, we're going to head back to Portland, and we're going to go to Hepburn Heights, which is sort of where the phone missions were. And we're going to do the RC toy car missions and a few miscellaneous missions along the way. Now, these all count towards the 100%, and depending on the version that you're playing, they might also have a trophy tied to them specifically. Thankfully, these are really easy missions and very laid back. All you have to do is at least earn 1 point before the time runs out, which is 2 minutes, and all you do is blow up gang cars. So as you can see, when you detonate the little RC car near a gang car, you'll see your total kills go up. And just wait for the time limit to go down, and once you see new record, then that means it's been applied and registered towards your 100%. So after you've done that from Hepburn Heights, you can come over here to sort of the Mafia area, and in this alleyway is going to be another van. So this one's Mafia Massacre, and basically it's the exact same thing. We're just doing Mafia cars instead. So just go, find your Mafia cars, blow them up, and then get new record. So you should see mission pass and new record, meaning that you have fully registered that you've completed it. Now we're going to do a miscellaneous mission. If you come over here to the video store, it's behind the hospital, and you jump inside a Patriot that spawns here. When you do that, it actually triggers a mission called Patriot Playground. I don't really think you guys will have too much of an issue with this one. I had 40 seconds left or so towards the end, and I messed up. So basically we have to pass through all of these rings before the timer reaches 0. And the timer doesn't actually start until you hit your first ring. So you can go around and then get to the back side of the wharf. And when you come onto the docks over here, you can actually just drive through and then bust through the gate at the end. And this is the route that I went, so if you are struggling, you can just follow my route. So again, it won't start until you collect your first ring. And whenever you're collecting any near the water, you just want to be careful that you don't go into the water. So we're going to collect a few easy rings to build up our timer. That way if we make any mistakes, then it's not really going to affect us. So again, you want to really slow down right there. Make sure you don't go into the water. The Patriot is kind of grippy at least, so you feel like you can kind of grip on the surface. And then we make our way up this cliff, grab this one and slowly reverse. Again, don't do things too fast during this, otherwise you could mess up. Next up, I recommend going on this hill and then just kind of reaching forward, grabbing it, and then reversing. I just found that to be a bit more easier and reliable. From here, we're going to grab this one before we make our way up. Now we can just kind of drive quickly. You just want to make sure you don't flip. It is pretty hard to flip, but again, you just want to make sure that you're kind of playing a bit cautious with that. Then we can head up the cliff over here. Unfortunately, the video was recorded at night, but hopefully you guys can see that okay. And as you make your way up, if you see that you're struggling, you can sort of strafe left and right to make sure you're keeping traction on the actual cliff. We're going to grab these rings here. Next up, we're going to grab this ring. So again, I'm just going to drop down. I'm going to pick this ring up. And then I try to go back up this way. But one, I was going way too fast and I lost grip, so you want to make sure you do that slowly, otherwise you'll end up like me. If you do make your way down though, it's not a big deal. We've built up so much time that we can make our way back up this cliff. So you see how I'm kind of just hauling ass and kind of being stupid? Yeah, don't do that. Don't follow me, guys. I'm trash. No, but if you're going at it a bit too fast, you'll notice your wheels pop off the actual cliff, and that's what's giving you traction. So you don't really want to do that. So I'm just kind of showing you an example of what not to do. And right here, we actually wanted to go left. So you can see I went this way, but I recommend doing this one because it can be a bit tricky. So we'll make our way back to the left side. And we're going to go all the way towards the end. You don't want to be going too fast, again, because you can just go flying. But as long as you slow down and you have all 4 wheels on this hill, you're going to have that grip. Then you can use that to reverse back up the hill. Slowly make your way around. You can reverse if you're not comfortable reversing all the way, and then turn back and make sure that you're facing forward. And then from here, I just kind of went on the side, and I actually messed up. I went a little too much to the right, and I started climbing the actual wall. You want to make sure you don't do that either, or you'll end up again messing up like I did. But I'm just showing you this. Even if you are panicking or you mess up, we still have heaps of time left. You can see we only need 4 more rings, and we still have 30 seconds. So again, don't really just give up after you made a mistake, because you might be able to save yourself. Now we're going to just sort of ride the wall side here. Again, you just want to be kind of slow, otherwise you can start sliding down and you will lose a fair bit of time. As long as you have about 30 seconds with your last 4 rings, I really don't see you missing the opportunity to complete the mission. And then we're going to come over here, grab this ring. You can see I missed it, so I just reversed into it, but that way I could still climb right back up without losing momentum. Then we grab this one here. We just go down all the way around, and then the last one is just under the railing for the train. And that's it, guys. So you can see I made a lot of mistakes, but I thought I'd show you just in case you were struggling and show you that it's very much possible. After that, we can make our way over to Staunton Island, and down here is going to be another toy car mission. And it's the same thing as the other ones we did before. We're just blowing up the gang cars. So as long as you blow up one of those gang cars, then you're able to get credit, and that'll go towards the 100%. So again, just drive out onto the street, look for a Yakuza gang member car, and then you'll get the mission passed. So that should be 3 of the Toy RC car missions. Next up, we have another miscellaneous mission. This one is just towards the middle of the Staunton Island. And at the front of this parking garage is going to be a stallion. And you just want to drive a stallion into the blue marker here to trigger the mission. You can see I got, the cops aggroed to me there, but once you start the mission, it'll just clear your notoriety anyways. Now this one's not too bad. We're going to have to go through all 20 checkpoints within 2 minutes. And then you'll also get some additional time whenever you go through the checkpoints. So immediately at the start here, we just grab the one to the right. Then we're going to reverse around, come to the front and grab this one here. Go back to the back of this area, grab that one, and then back to the front to grab the 4th one. Then we can make it to the next level. On the 2nd level, there's going to be one in the taxi. I just kind of shoved it out of the way. Then to the left is going to be another one. And then towards the right side will be another. And then we can just head straight, grab one more before going up to the next floor. On the next floor to your left is going to be one hidden behind the ramp. Then we can immediately go to the right side here on this floor. There's going to be 2 lined up perfectly. Then we can grab the one on the side of the ramp and then reverse and then make our way up to the next floor. Now on the second to last floor, there's going to be one to our right, then to the front, and then towards the back of this area, and then one right before we go up the ramp. And before we make it to the final floor, just grab the ring next to the ramp. Then we can head to the next floor. We're going to go immediately to the left and find a ring here in this spot. Back up. Make our way to the right side of this top floor and then to the back side. Going all the way at the back so we can get enough speed because our last ring is going to be jumping off of the platform. Just aim directly for it and you should hit that with no problem. And again, just make sure you went back far enough to get enough speed. And you guys will get the mission passed. And that's all you have to do for that one. So a nice, pretty chill one as well, guys. Alright guys, so next up we're going to go west of the parking garage. And we'll be in this park here. You can see the little pond there. And there's going to be a landstalker that we can get in. And this is going to trigger a new mission. This one's called the Ride in the Park. Throughout the park is going to be these rings that we have to collect. There's going to be 12 of them. And again, you can collect them in any order. And the timer only starts once you collect your first one. Alright, so I'll show you guys the way that I went. I'm going to grab the one here that's on the dock there, or the jetty. We're going to go up the hill and grab this one. That one can be a bit tricky, so you may have to restart if you do run out of time. But you can come in the water here, and once you grab those 2 annoying ones, those are pretty much the hardest part of it. Next up, you're just going to want to make your way over to this wall. And you can see I was already at 0 seconds, so again, the beginning part's probably the hardest. But once you grab these ones, It's going to give you a nice amount of time to work with. And then the rest of them are pretty easy from here on out. So heading towards the bathroom section here, you can go down the stairs and then right back up. Make your way up this stairway, then down, and then there's going to be a ring on the right here. So just grab that as well. That way we can make sure both of those are taken care of. And then we can go on the hill over here, drop down into this little alleyway, grab this ring, then grab another ring. So that's 3 rings right there. We should have 50 seconds to grab the last ring, which will make this very easy. So again, honestly, the only hard part is right at the start, but you guys will smash this out, no problem. Next, we're going to head over to the hideout in Shoreside Vale. You can save your game here if you'd like as well, if it's been a while since you've saved. And this will be our 4th RC car mission. So just as we've been doing before with the other 3, you're just going to go through and blow up as many hood gang cars as you can. Now for this area, those are those vans, the Rumpo vans. So go ahead and destroy as many as you can, and you should pop the trophy, depending on whatever version you're playing. But as long as you see mission passed, then we know you got the credit for it. Next up, we have our final miscellaneous mission. This will be the last miscellaneous one for the 100%. And when you get in the Patriot over here, it's going to start the mission Gripped. Now this mission is much like Patriot Playground, where these rings spawn on the mountainside and you just use it to climb up the mountain and grab the rings before the time runs out. I'm going to show you the route that I went, and we started here because again the timer starts whenever you grab your first ring, and I figured I'd show you how I did it in case you wanted to know, but if you don't need to know, you can use the timestamps to skip it. So we grab these rings here, and then once you get to this mountain, you're going to see a few rings that we can grab. We're going to grab the 2 on the right first, making our way slowly up the mountain. Don't panic too much about the time, just focus on not losing grip and also the rings. If you ever reverse on the mountain, make sure you're ready to hit the gas as well so you don't go sliding down. After those 2 rings on the right side, we'll grab these 2 that are lined up on the left. And if you're very careful, you can see I kind of messed up a little bit there. But I'm trying to save myself and I've still kind of messed up. But we're going to try and align the tires straight again. And then make our way up. I also have a gang member shooting at me, so just be careful of that. Come up here, grab this ring. And then after that we can finally get off this side of the mountain. So slowly turn your car around, making sure that you don't lose the grip. And then we're going to head over to get on top of the street. So there's an opening over here. Go through the opening. Watch out again for any cartel members so you're not getting shot at. Last thing you want to do is fail to getting blown up. Grab the ring here on the right without falling off the cliff. Make your way down the street up towards the top until you see the next purple dot on the map. All the way up towards the top here before you fall off the cliff basically is another one. And then you can head all the way up the mountain to get another one in the distance. And then after you grab those 2, there's just one right here. And then the next part is just a bunch of hills. This part is pretty much one of the easier parts. There are still a few parts you want to be careful of. But coming up here, you want to start slowing down. Then make your way down. And we're basically going to kind of like bob and weave going from the right to the left. And again, just slow down on the edges so you don't go sliding. After you grab that one, we'll stay on the left side. So we go right, left, then forward, then right again. And this one's right on the edge. So you want to be really, really careful you don't lose grip. And you kind of don't really want to be going at a full angle. Otherwise you might lose grip and just fall down. That's one of the ones that can be a bit tricky. Then there's going to be one up the dirt side of the cliff here to the right. And as you can see, we still have a minute. So we only need 5 more and we have a minute. So we're not really desperate for time. You can take your time here if you are struggling. And you want to just make sure you're not going to fall straight down or accidentally flip the car. And another tricky one can be right here if you're going too fast. So just slow down, grab the ring, and then get out of there. Then we're going to make our way back up. We're going to get this ring all the way at the very top of this hill. Now this one will obviously take a little bit more time because the hill is very steep and it's on its own separate hill. But slowly make your way up to the top and grab it. Make sure you don't go flying off the edge. And then slowly reverse. And just be mindful of your time, but you should still have a good amount of time here. And then just make sure you're going down this part pretty slow. You just don't want to be going too fast, lose your grip, and then fall off and have to restart. As you can see, we're still at 30 seconds, so we're just cruising. This is another tricky part. Just make sure you're very slow because there's a lot of edges and bumps in the grass hill and they can cause you to slip. So just be very mindful of that. Start making your way towards our last 2 rings. We still have 30 seconds. We're going to go up this hill. We're going to hug around the side here. Grab this ring. And then for our last ring, you just want to make sure you don't miss this part. Just go straight down and land right in it. That's going to be mission passed, and that's all the miscellaneous missions done towards the 100%. And now we can go to doing the stunt jumps and just cleaning those up. So if you've been following the guide, you should at least have 8 of them, which was from Portland, and we're now continuing on Staunton. So this one is under the Callahan Bridge, and you just want to try and make sure you're going fast enough. Get a fast car like the Yakuza or any of the sports cars. And the jump can be a bit tricky because you want to go fast, but you don't want to go too fast to the point where you kind of do this. Bruh. Either way, as long as it says it gave you credit, just check your stats menu and make sure you did get credit for it. And then we can head over to the 10th stunt jump, which is over here. This one can be a pain in the ass to set up. I had to block off traffic for like fucking 20 minutes. Literally. But yeah, it sort of just depends on your spawn rate and if you are getting screwed by NPCs. Then you can just jump through the window and make that jump. After that, the next one is actually on this highway. So you can see we're on the highway. You can see the bridge in the distance. And the jump when you're on here is just past these trees. And again, as long as you get credit, then you can move on to the next one. So that is on the highway. And then you're going to find that path you can get onto, past the trees, and then make the jump. And we're going to get the fuck out of there, right? Before we blow up. Now our next jump you might have from the story mission or even just the miscellaneous mission that we did recently. So if you're not sure, just redo it and make sure that it says, you know, unique stunt jump, because there is a story mission where we jump off of there and there is that miscellaneous mission we just did. So again, make sure you've got credit on this jump off of the parking garage, and once you do, you can move on to the next one. And if you're unsure you did get it, you can always write a note on the side, and if you do all 20 and the trophy doesn't pop, you can try that one again. So just another hint or suggestion. So next up is from the Shoreside Vale airport, and there's going to be a staircase against the plane there, and as long as you clear that first plane, you're going to get the credit for this one. Doesn't really matter if you go too fast. And then the next one is going to be over here. So on this left side here, we're going to make our way down the strip and then past this first warehouse, and then you want to go to this one and then jump over it. This one you do need a fair bit of speed because you want to clear it. And as long as you make it all the way over, you'll get the credit for it. Alright, the next one after that, we're going to head down to this side of the airport. The good thing is a lot of these jumps are in the airport, so some nice easy ones to knock out. We're going to make our way down the strip, and there's going to be these jumps right here that go over the warehouse. And again, we just want to try and clear this warehouse. And as long as you clear it, you should get credit. Even if you hit the helicopters, it's fine. But as you can see, we just got credit for that one. Now next up is just pretty much in the same area from there, but it's past the helicopters, and this time we're going to jump over the warehouse a bit further ahead. And as you can see, as long as you clear it, you get the credit. Alright guys, so the next one is going to be a dirt road just north of the airport. And all we have to do is ramp over it and get to the next island, and that'll give you credit. So it'll be onto the island where our hideout is at. And that should be the 17th jump if you've been following along. And again, for some reason, I always blow my car up, so make sure if that happens to you, you get out of there quick. The next one is going to be up north from the hideout, and we're going to clear the water that's by the dam. And you just want to ramp off this hill. And we're going to make our way onto the other island. And as long as you land over there, you should get credit. So just make sure you do. Next up, we're going to have jump number 19. This one you might have got when we got our hidden packages, as well as for that story mission when we had to ramp off of this one. So you may have this one again, but if you're unsure, just go ahead and do it again anyways. There was a story mission that used it, as well as a hidden package, so you might have this one. But as long as you jump over and get the credit, then you can move on to our final stunt jump. Now for our final one, it's actually in the same area, except for it's from the garage facing the other way. So you can see we're going south. So there's the jump we just did. And then if we come over here, this is going to be our final jump. So we just jump over this. And this will allow us to clear quite a bit. And if you land up on here, or even down there, I believe will still give you credit. But just make sure you get the credit, and that'll give you the wheels up trophy. And what do you know? I blew my car up yet again. What a surprise, right? Well, next up, we can start cleaning up our Rampage missions. So there's going to be 20 throughout the game. And I'm going to show you guys a trick on how to do them. So if you go to the north side of Staunton to grab a Rhino, we can then store that on the Staunton hideout and then save our game. And a lot of these Rampages you can actually beat by using a tank. And I do recommend it, otherwise they can be a bit challenging. But if you don't really, want to use a tank, you don't have to either. And if you also want to know how to do a glitch that makes the gang members non-hostile towards you during the Rampage mission, then you want to skip to the 20A solution timestamp so you can see the final Rampage mission and how I use that glitch to make them non-hostile. You don't have to do it this way either, but without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, the first spawn point of this Rampage, so this is for 1A, because all of the Rampages do have 2 spawn points. So the first one is here, and then if you were to fail this, then it's going to spawn in the second location, and then if you fail it again, it'll go back to the first. So that works for all of the spawn locations, so just keep that in mind. That's why I'm going to have all of the spawn locations for you in the video. Now, I recommend doing this one at the 1A location. It's a little bit easier. And if you have a tank, you can bring it over here. Just watch out for all of the really pissed off Mafia. And if you notice, it said kill 20 Mafia in, the allotted time, and it gives you an Uzi. But these missions actually allow you to do them in a tank. As long as they don't say get headshots, you can do all of these missions in a tank. And you just want to make sure they don't pull you out of the tank. And you can just start shooting against the walls, so that way it hits the Mafia members on the street. So you can see a big group of them there, and then that'll still give you the Rampage complete. So do this until you complete 1, and then you can move on to 2. And again, I'm going to show you both spawn locations in case you fail them at any point. So for 2A, it's just where I put on the map, and it's down this alleyway. And this one is to kill 20 triads in 120 seconds, so similar to the Mafia. And the second spawn location is at the back of the hospital here on Portland. So you can see where there's the ambulance, and this is the hospital, and it's at the very back on this ledge. And if you make your way all the way to the end, it's going to give you a shotgun to kill the triads, which is a great weapon, don't get me wrong. So to kill 20 triads, we're going to use our weapon, which is the tank. That's right, you guys guessed it. We're going to use the tank. You can use the shotgun if you want. I mean, a lot of them are only really using a bat. But again, yeah. So I recommend doing this at the 2A location. And again, a lot of these I'm going to recommend using the tank, but it's completely up to you on what you decide to use. So for 3A, it's going to be in Chinatown. And it's going to be down this alleyway past the van and those boxes. And for this one, again, it's just going to have you kill triads. It's going to give you an Uzi. That's the location 3A. And now we're going to go to 3B. This one is by the Super Save building. And it's just going to be between this pillar and the building. So those are its 2 spawn locations. And again, I just recommend using the tank as always. As you can see, it still gives you credit. So as long as it doesn't specifically say get headshots, it will work on all of these other Rampages. The next one is 4A. It's actually to the building right of Luigi's bar. It's by the adult video shop. So, if you need to pause the video and do your thing, no judgment here. We're going to grab the 4A spawn, and then I'm going to show you where to get the 4B spawn. And it's right by the Callahan bridge and a building. It's just in the corner of it. And it's going to be another one where we just have to kill the 30 amount of gang members. And you can use the tank, as I said before. And then the next one we have is Rampage number 5. This one is 5A. And 5A is actually up the stairs here and then onto the tracks. And if you go down further, you're going to find the actual spawn point. Now this one you can use a tank. It just says destroy 10 vehicles in 120 seconds and it gives you infinite grenades. And the other one is the other way of the tracks. So if you go up that stairway again, but you come down all the way over here, you're going to find the other spawn. Now admittedly you can use the tank like I said, but I just used the grenades. It really wasn't too bad. So it's completely up to you on if you still have the tank or if you have to go back and get one, then whatever you need to do. So this one's not too bad. You can keep moving your camera view as well. That's going to cause the game to reload more cars whenever you look away from a specific area. So next we have 6A for the Rampage, and this is just further down from where we were at. It's sort of by Joey's. You're going to see the Bank of Liberty City, and then behind here is going to be the Rampage. This one gives you an RPG. Again, you don't really need to use the tank for this because the RPG is crazy. And the other spawn point is actually going to be by Greasy Joe's Diner. So you can see the diner in the background, and it's actually up the hill over here, and it's behind the wall, behind this tree. So grab this one, and again, you have an RPG, so you can either use the tank or the RPG. And I recommend the 6A location for this one, because you can just come up here on the wall and just start blasting cars from up here, and you're pretty safe, to be honest. And you can always just turn your camera view and keep looking away to get more cars to spawn. After that, we can move on to 7A. We're going to start going over to Staunton Island now. And this one is on the highway. So this is sort of where that stunt jump was before. And this one has you torch 16 Yakuza members. And the 7B location is actually south of the pay and spray. And if you go up here past 8 Ball's garage for the car bombs, you'll find it. And you might be wondering how we can do this one pretty easily. And you're absolutely right. We're going to bust out the tank. Correct, guys. You're getting the hang of it. We're just going to go around, start blasting motherfuckers. You know, really put it in on them. And then we can move on to 8A. And this one is just south of the Staunton Island Park. And you're going to find it in the corner over here. So this is the southwest corner, if you're looking on the map. This one we only have to destroy 8 vehicles, and it does give you a shotgun, which is pretty strong against vehicles. And then the other location is actually in the northeast of the park. And it's in between the walls yet again. So it's basically the opposite side. And that's where you can get 8B. But yeah, since the shotgun blows up cars really easily, that's right. We're going to bust out the tank. We're going to start blasting motherfuckers. We're just going in on them. Stop. You really got to stop doing that. But again, guys, I just emphasize it because it does make your life a lot easier. We can move on to 9 once you completed that. So 9A is actually just down here on the bottom of Staunton Island. And from the street, if you make your way into the parking lot here, at the very end, down this alley is going to be where the Rampage icon is. So this is the first spawn location. The second spawn location is just above it. So if we go a bit north from the previous one, it's going to lead us to a church. And instead of repenting our sins, we're just going to go in here and grab the next icon. So again, those are its 2 spawn locations. Moving on, we can go to number 10. We're already basically halfway through the Rampage. This is to the east of the hideout on Staunton, near the fire station there. If we make our way to the back of the fire station, we're going to find the first spawn location. And if you do fail this one, the second spawn location is north of the hideout. And directly north, you will find this building and an alleyway. If you make your way down into this alleyway, I'm not sure why all those gang members were lined up like that. There's some goofy ass AI in this game, but you know what? Sometimes it works to your advantage. And it doesn't seem like I have example footage of me doing that one, but let's be honest, I probably used the fucking tank. So however you get that one done, just do it, and then we can move on to 11A. And this one, if you go past the parking garage down below, make your way around the side here and go up the stairs, then you are going to find it to our right. And that's, of course, its first spawn location. The second one is actually at Kenji's Casino. And I kind of recommend this location, to be honest, over the other one. And what you want to do is grab the icon here, and then you can actually jump down to the ground floor. And you can see they sort of just line up for you, so you can just start taking their head off. And if you're wondering why the hell I'm not using the tank, this is what I meant by the headshots. On the rampages where you have to get headshots, you cannot use the tank. It won't give you credit. There's only 2 of them, I believe, off memory. So again, everything else you can use a tank on. Next up, we're going to go over to 12A. This is sort of back at that church, but it's at the back side of it. And you're going to find the first spawn location. Now, this is another RPG one, so it's pretty simple. And then we're going to go to the second spawn location, which is the southwest side of the map. And if you make your way over here, there's that parking lot area from the other rampage. But there's one behind the bush here. This is the second spawn location. And again, you have the RPG, so you can use that, or you can bust out the tank if you want. Next up, we're going to go to 13A. It's on the side of this university building. This is the first spawn location for number 13. You have to destroy 15 vehicles. Now, this gun does a lot of damage, so you can definitely do it without the tank if you do want to just do it with the gun provided. After that, to get to the second spawn location, it's just in the construction site to the east of the map. And then you can grab that. And again, like I said, you can use the tank if you want, or you can use the weapon since it's pretty quick. And the weapon is really strong, you just have to make sure you don't get busted by the cops. But again, I just went through, smashed it out with the tank, and now we can go on to our last island. So the last rampages are going to be on Shoreside Vale. This one is near the front of the airport, behind the billboard. This is the first spawn for number 14. This is just running them over with your car. And then 14B here is going to be up towards the top in the grassy area. And you're just looking for cartel members. They're the Colombians with the like Hawaiian t-shirt on. But again, I use the tank on this because they can shoot at your car while you're running them over and they might blow you up. So for me, the tank is the easiest choice. Then after that, we can head over to the island where our hideout is on. And 15A is behind this billboard here. Now, if you want the second spawn location, it's on the spiral road to the top of that area. But halfway up the spiral road, it's behind the billboards here. Now, the easiest way I found to do this mission is to grab the 15A location. Because if we do the 15A location, we can drop down and go straight to the hideout. You can grab this adrenaline pill. Whenever you have this one, it slows down time. And then you can just start aiming at them and taking off their head. And it puts off a lot of the pressure of having to do it while it's in real time, especially with the kind of archaic aiming that GTA 3 has, even with the Definitive Edition. And I think you get roughly like 40 seconds or so with this. That's probably not even accurate, but I found myself not really struggling if I did it that way. So you could try that method as well. And then after that, we can head to 16A, which is near the hideout. And on that bridge to get to the hideout, if you jump down onto this building, you're going to find the Rampage. And then for the secondary location, for some reason it's near the airport instead of on that island. And it's just behind a billboard near the airport. Now the 16A location is the easiest, and the shotgun for some reason has ridiculous range.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom.
So enjoy using the sniper shotgun to clear that one out very easily. Now moving on to number 17, this is going to be the first spawn location. It's in the city just north of the airport, and it's by the Punk Noodle sign here. Through the toll gate, you're going to find this one here. This is to do a drive-by and destroy 7 vehicles. So if you zoom in here, we're going to go to the second spawn location near the dam, and it's just behind this rock. Now, I actually have an easy method to do this one, and no, guys, please stop. It's not the tank, okay? This time it's actually not the tank. So if we grab the first spawn location, the 17A one, which was right here, you'll notice a parking lot by the airport. After you grab it, go to the airport, and you can find all of these cars just parked here, and you can just go by and start shooting them and doing the drive-by. So as you can see, we're just going through, blowing up the cars, and that's an easy way to complete that one. Now the next one for 18, the first spawn location is on this roof. This one gives you an RPG again, so it's really, really easy. You can see all of these cars just lined up, ready to be blown up. And again, turn your camera view if you need to. The second spawn location for this one is in the grass area here, just north of the airport. And it's behind the billboard. Alright, and again, this one gives you an RPG, so it's really easy to smash out. And I just recommend doing it at the 13A location, just on that building. You're really safe up here from cops. And you can again move your camera view around and you see that it spawns new cars. And then after you finish that one, we can move on to number 19. 19's first spawn location is near one of the stunt jumps. And we're just going to head down this path. And right before the ramp, next to this crate, is going to be the first spawn location for it. And this is the location that I recommend completing this one at, because you can just come up here and snipe down at the Colombians from the street. And you're pretty safe up there. And again, you can always turn your camera view around and get more to spawn. And a lot of the times they're just sort of standing there. So I recommend doing it on 19A, but in case you do fail and you need to go to 19B, it's just over here on these storage units behind the police station. And again, you just start sniping away. Now we've got our final one. And for this one, if you go up to the houses to the north of Shoreside, there's going to be a Rampage here for the first spawn location. So here's the first spawn location. And then the second one is actually back over here in the city. And it's just behind the wall, sort of by the import and export list for Shoreside Vale. So you can see it's next to the wall here. And there's actually a trick we can do to do this one. So one trick that I found to be kind of unreliable, but I thought I would share it with you if you wanted to try it, is you can go to the back of the buildings. So it's the back of the houses where you grabbed 20A, and then you can just go over here to the bush and start burning some through the bushes. I found that to be pretty inconsistent, so I'm going to show you a trick you can do. So at the location for 20A again, you're going to see we're going to try and piss off a single cop. You can see just a cop here. There's no other cop car around. And what you want to do is you just want to run him over, but you want to do it without killing him. And then you can get out of the car, and then he's stuck. You'll see we have a notoriety level of 1. And while he's stuck, we're going to go grab the Rampage that's behind the shed here, or the garage. And you can see we still have a 1-star wanted level. But now, since we have the cop on us and he's trapped, it actually makes the gang non-hostile towards you. So you can see they have guns and everything, but now they're not shooting at you. So they're basically just target dummies. For some reason, whenever you do this, their IQ just goes to my level and they just kind of stay in there. So have fun. It's going to be nice and easy for you guys. And then you should finish all 20 Rampages. So congrats on smashing those out. And now we only have a little bit of cleanup left. And I've saved the best for last because I figured why not end on a more chill note. Now, for my viewers that are on the definitive edition, you probably only have full artillery left, which is using all of the weapons. And since we have all the hidden packages, things like that, you can just come to the hideout, grab your bat, grab all the weapons, and then just start using them. And there's also some of those miscellaneous trophies that you might not have got, but you can always join my Discord as well if you're stuck and ask for some advice. Now, if you're on the OG version, you'll likely be missing the import and export and the get busted 20 times. I recommend leaving the 20 times busted one for last because of your criminal rating needing to be 5,000 or higher. It's a bit higher of a requirement in the OG version. And there's also a few miscellaneous trophies in that one, like destroy 5 helicopters, things like that that you won't really need the guide for. You can just kind of piss the cops off and start shooting them. So with those miscellaneous trophies in mind, the only thing we really have left towards the 100% is the import and export car list. Again, I thought I'd save this for last because it's nice and chill. Now at the Portland docks, we need to grab all the cars that they require as well as the emergency vehicles. And in Shoreside Vale, we only have to grab the cars. I'm going to show you a few tricks that we can do to get these cars easier. Now from the Portland docks, here on the very first island, if you make your way over here, you're going to see a list of cars and a garage that we turn these cars into. And if you make your way outside to the street by the docks, you can see here, there's actually a few cars you need right there in the parking lot. And a lot of these cars tend to just come to you. More so in the definitive edition, so mind you, in the OG version, the spawn rates are absolutely fucking ass. So just keep that in mind. But as you can see, I barely just went out there, already found a car, and I'm going to have all of these cars listed at the end for you, as well as what they look like so you know what you're looking out for. Now, as for the emergency vehicles, they're all actually right here by the garage on Portland docks as well. And you'll see this yellow marker on the ground. And for example, one of them is an ambulance. You can just grab one at the hospital. You do need to make sure that the car goes all the way to the boat and it gives you the message. Otherwise, if you leave too early, it's not going to count. And this method goes the same for Shoreside. So here you go in Shoreside. This is where we have the garage that we need to deliver these to. Doing it this way means you hardly have to move. You can kind of just come out here and grab the cars as you see them. Again, I'm going to have pictures and everything of all the cars at the end. And I'm also going to give you fixed spawn points in case you don't want to wait around for them. So I can tell you where that specific car always has a spawn of. And that might make it a bit quicker for you as well. But if you want, just chuck on a podcast, maybe a movie, whatever it is to make this grind even more chill. I like to leave it on a good note. And again, one final tip I'm going to give you is if you go to the Callahan bridge here, this is the bridge between Portland and Staunton. You'll see to the right, you can already see there's a flatbed. That's one that we have to collect. And then you can keep going forward. There's another flatbed. And this bridge tends to spawn them like crazy. There's the bus. That's another one we need. So again, it's a little bit different in the OG version. The spawn rates aren't as good, but you can definitely still use these tricks to your advantage. There's a Securicar as well. So you can see a lot of them did spawn. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you fixed spawn locations and a picture of all of the required vehicles. So that way you know what you're looking out for and it's nice and relaxed. Each clip is about 5 seconds, so you can pause the video and go through them individually, and they're also all timestamped. And after we finish up this part, of course, I'll have my usual outro, and we can finish off GTA 3, guys. So get excited, enjoy this last bit of grind, because a platinum is soon to be yours. So on the map here, I've marked the Blista, for example, what it looks like, as well as the area it spawns. You can find the green square that I've put on the map to be the location that it has a fixed spawn at, or one that you can find it on. So for example, the bus is on the bridge, or in Chinatown, the coach is at the bus depot, things like that, just to make it a little bit easier. You got the Dodo at the international airport, and again, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Those are the areas that you can find them in, so they're not necessarily all fixed spawns, but some of them are. But go ahead and smash through this, guys, and I will see you shortly after we finish our collection. And there it is, clan. If you guys made it to this point, you've made it all the way through my GTA 3 guide. You more than likely have the platinum. However, if you do have some miscellaneous trophies, especially if you are in the OG version, just make sure you go smash those out. But other than that, guys, we are done. We have finished our journey through Liberty City, and I'm excited for our next journey. If you haven't subscribed and you found the video helpful, consider joining the clan and subscribe today. make that thumb button blue for me, because leaving a like does help the algorithm and get my content out there. If you do think that it was worth sharing, give it a share as well. Other than that, guys, I want to give a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters. As always, these guys help me get to where I need to be. I apologize if I didn't sound the best in this video. I've been a bit sick right now, so thank you guys for sticking through it with me. And actually, you know what? If you did stick it through the video all the way to the very end, why don't you leave a comment below that says,
My mother's my sister!
That just helps me identify who the real ones are in the comments below, so thank you for being a real one. And speaking of real ones, that's going to go to my Patreon supporters, so if you want to be immortalized in my videos, check out the Patreon, see how you can help support the channel today. Thank you for your time, as always. It's beyond appreciated. I hope you guys had a great time on the streets of Liberty City, and now we can finally close off our adventure, and I hope to see you guys in our next adventure.